Now, Irish dancing is truly a worldwide phenomenon, as people all over the world are amazed by the skill and talent involved in such shows as Riverdance and Lord of the Dance. And our next guest can tell you a thing or two about what it takes to be in those dancing shoes.
Well, she can indeed. She has both trained and worked with some of the best Irish dancers in the world, including, of course, Michael Flatley. And she was the choreographer who helped him conquer the world. I'm delighted to say Marie Duffy joins us alongside Sunday World journalist Eddie Rowley to tell us about their book, Lady of the Dance. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us. Marie, you've flown in from London this morning for the interview, so thank you very much.
Yes, 4 o'clock this morning. So
Hi, Glam. And you're here.
I'm here.
Tell us about, I mean, you have such a ridiculously impressive career and titles, 400 titles. You started dancing at the age of 6, but travelling the world with Michael Flatley, and now, I suppose, one of your closest friends.
Yes, well, I think we're like family. I've been with Michael for over 20 years, and I've travelled the world with him, and it's just been phenomenal.
And been together at some of the world's most prestigious events, from the Ryder Cup to the Prince's Trust to the Oscars.
Exactly, yes. From Cashel Crumlin in Dublin to the Oscars, no one would think that the 1, 2, 3s would take you
that
on
far.
such a road. Yeah.
And what about Michael himself, Mary? You know, being in the business, you always hear about the one thing that drives him. He's such a workaholic. He works so hard. Tell us a little bit about him and how much he works and how much he dedicates himself to it.
Well, he's a couple of words wouldn't describe Michael. I mean, his charisma, his positivity, his just the way he fires up everybody, and he just, you know, he has that burning, well, I guess you call it the X factor or the wow factor. You know, that...
Well, it's a burning ambition to be the best, though,
yes.
Mary, because no matter what he put his hand at, whether it was chess or whether it was boxing, whether it was dancing,
exactly,
he wanted to be the best.
Yes, yes. And as he would say, no matter what you want to do, you can do it. Just go, and whatever Michael said he would do, he would do. You know, lots of people didn't believe him, that we would tour stadiums and sheds, but we did, and sold out every time.
Everywhere you went.
Yeah, yeah.
Eddie, Mary's story is a remarkable story. How did it come to you, or where did the idea for the book come?
Well, I've been around Lord of the Dance for 20 years, and I travelled all over the world with Michael Flatley because he was great at promoting the show, and he always brought a troupe of journalists, a troupe of Irish journalists.
I think Michael understands and embraces the media, doesn't he?
He does.
And generates publicity and knows the importance of it in terms of ticket sales.
It's that American thing.
Well, there's no point in having a good show if nobody knows it's on.
Exactly. You know yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you have to go and sell.
So you were involved with that entourage that went around the world?
Las Vegas, Lebanon, Beirut, Europe. We were all over the place. But I actually didn't get to know Marie, and Marie was responsible for what took place on stage.
Yeah.
And it was only when she retired in the last year or two, and Michael gave a little speech about her, and I thought, whoa, she's just a very really interesting character. And I contacted her for an interview for the Sunday World. And during the course of that conversation, I realised, wow, there's an awful lot of stuff here, and there could be a book in this. I do write books as a hobby, so I want to take on a project that I'm going to really enjoy and work with somebody that I'm going to like. And Marie, obviously, we get on really well. She's a lovely person, thoroughly enjoyed it, and a fascinating story, not just about the actual Lord of the Dance and the Irish dancing world that she was involved in, but her own personal life. You know, she's a breast cancer survivor. Her first husband died after just 5 years of marriage. She's had a lot of challenges in her life, and it's how she dealt with those, and she deals with them in a very positive way. And it is a very inspiring read.
I'd imagine, Mary, you're one of those people who has tons of content and no sense of, yes, we can make a book out of this. It's yourself, Eddie, that saw that opportunity in Mary. You're far too modest and humble to ever think you've enough excitement going on to have a book.
Right, it was something I never would have done, actually, only for Eddie.
But when he approached you, Mary, what did you think? Did you think, oh God, I don't know, or did you take a bit of convincing?
Well, actually, I think what I said to you was something like, I'll have to wait till everybody's down under before I
can talk.
And I said, Mary, I can protect the guilty.
Yeah. But Eddie, there must have been one story that made you think there's a book in this. What was that moment?
I think it was Mary's own personal life, really. You know, the person behind the work, the fact that, you know, she dealt with so many challenges in her own life, the cancer. You know, she didn't get married until she was 47 years of age. That was her first marriage. And within 5 years, she was a widow. And she had to deal with all of that. Her first husband taking a heart attack just 2 days after the biggest night of her life, staging Lord of the Dance at the Oscars. And to go from there, to come back from that, and to nurse him through a year before he passed away, while continuing to work with Lord of the Dance, it's incredible what she has done as a person. Absolutely.
Well, clearly, Mary, there's similarities between you and Michael in terms of you're clearly a very driven woman and a very ambitious woman, and you have a great work ethic. Because to carry on working while you're doing that. Did Michael's influence rub off on you? Did he pull you through? Or was he was clearly there as a friend?
Oh, he was very supportive all the time in both cases. When I was bereaved, he was always there for me. And then when I had the breast cancer, our outlook, myself and my husband, who is also another Michael, was, well, this is a bummer, but it's not going to change us. We just have to fit it in with our lifestyle. So we're not going to give up, and we're going to keep on working. So Michael was starting to tour at the time, and we were in rehearsals. So he, again, anytime I wanted to leave or go back for chemo, my own Mike would drive me across Europe, because with flights and all the medicines and syringes and everything like that, it was easier to drive. So we drive across Europe to the show, and then each 3 weeks I'd have to come back for the cancer, for the chemo. And so we'd drive back and have the chemo, and then get in the car and go back on the road again to the show. So both Mikes were there at each end, being very, very supportive.
You know, we're killed for time, Mary, but there's so many moments in your career, let alone your personal life, where you must have stood there and pinched yourself. I mean, there's so many gigs. Is there one, very quickly, is there one that you stood there and went, I can't believe we're here doing this?
The opening night at the Point, the very, very first. All opening nights were fantastic, but that one very special one, when the 3 Arena was the Point, that will live with me forever.
I was there that week. I saw the original production of Riverdance, and it's one of those nights in theatre that I will never forget. It's an amazing story, and thank you so much for getting up at a silly o'clock this morning to come over and share with us. Eddie, thanks a million for coming.
And it's all there in the book, Lady of the Dance.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
guys.
much.